Hi, this is Scott Muni on the World of Rock, and I have on the telephone a friend of mine and a friend of yours because he's a music person and a great one. Kenny Loggins, hello, buddy.
How you doing?
All right. You're wandering around the country, aren't you?
Yeah, aimlessly.
Aimlessly.
Wandering around the country.
Well, you got a whole lot going on that we want to talk about, and I think, where are you in Florida?
I am in Tampa, right?
All righty.
Or close to.
Let's talk about Back to Avalon, a new album. Actually, this album has some of our friends from the music business and your friends. Wasn't Mickey Thomas on a track there?
Yeah, Mickey Thomas is there. Starship,
Yeah.
as you know, and Grace.
Grace.
He's on one of the tracks. And,
How about is Wacko Peter Wolf on there?
well, not the wacko Peter Wolf.
Oh, the straight Peter Wolf.
This is Peter Wolf from Austria.
Okay, he's the guy who gets involved in the producing, and not the mammy jammy whammy jammer.
That's right. Different Peter Wolf. And I know he hates the fact that it's continually confused.
Yeah.
He's also a recording artist.
The main thing is you've been a man of music, and it's good to have you do. As a matter of fact, what I'd like for you to do right now is why don't you introduce Nobody's Fool? And that was actually in a movie, right?
That was initially written for the second Caddyshack movie.
Right.
That was the last song that I wrote and recorded for the album. I'd been recording for a couple of years on Back to Avalon, off and on.
Well, it's about time then. See, I wanted a note from your mummy to explain why we haven't had anything from you in a while, and you just gave it to me. All right, so that's part of Back to Avalon then, and that's the last song added?
And that was the last one we did, actually, because I was ready to come with the album, and I was a little bit obstinate about holding the record up. And but I got persuaded by a number of people, John Peters primarily, who produced Caddyshack, that it would be something that could be worth my while, and to look into it. And so I figured if the creative juices were flowing and a good song came out, I would do it. But if a good song didn't come out, I wouldn't force the issue. And when we wrote Nobody's Fool, Michael Towers and I, we also wrote 3 other melodies. So we had a very, very creative day. Normally don't get 4 melodies in one day.
Well, I saw the name imprint. I also saw that in the album itself, Back to Avalon, there's one other movie thing, isn't there, from Over the Top? Meet Me Halfway?
Meet Me Halfway. I blanked on that.
Well, you've done a lot of movie things, so this has got to be a little confusing for you. I mean, the huge hit there, Footloose.
Caddyshack 1.
Yeah.
Top Gun.
We're on the telephone on the World of Rock talking to the very talented Kenny Loggins, and it wasn't that long ago. Kenny had been messing around with a group called the Electric Prunes and a few other folks and starting out in the business, and he went in to record an album as a solo artist with a producer named Jim Messina, and all of a sudden we had a Loggins and Messina combo there for a while. How'd that happen, Ken?
That was sort of an accident, actually. He pretty well described it. I went in and sang for Jimmy, and we started working on a Kenny Loggins album to be produced by Jimmy Messina. And as we got deeper into the album, I worked up one of his tunes, which was a song called Peace of Mind. And he started showing me a lot of his other things, and I liked what I was hearing. I thought that his stuff was really strong. And so I said, well, let's do a duet, and one thing led to another, and the next thing you know, we had an album of duets. And we pretty much sort of, once we realized that there was a musical compatibility there, we pursued it.
We're talking to Kenny Loggins by telephone on the World of Rock, and we certainly want to know what you're up to with the tour and a show and everything involved. We're talking about the new album and the single Nobody's Fool and the album Back to Avalon. So the current plans and what you're doing, Kenny.
Well, at this point, I'm going to continue touring, and the tour will probably take me to Europe and Japan. Possibly. Right now, we're definitely going to Japan in November, and I'll do the rest of the United States up through there. And then probably Europe at the top of the year. And then I'm also working on a movie that's a musical for the Disney people.
Wow.
And it's called Access All Areas. I'll be working in the capacity of writing the music and producing the album, but I won't, because it's a musical, I won't be singing the material. So that's something new for me, too.
Not really working with movies, but actually doing it that way, right?
Yeah, where it's the ground up, because in a musical, the music is an integral part of the script. And so I've been working with the writers in developing the moments that music would be used. It's quite a challenge.
When Kenny Loggins is on tour, What ratio? I mean, I know you're going to be doing the stuff from Back to Avalon, but do you make sure you use salt and pepper and put that spice and flavor in of all the old favorites?
Oh, absolutely. No, I structure my show the way I like to go and see shows. I don't like to go to see an act and have him not do any of the material that I wanted to hear. So I'm pretty much the same way. When I structure my act, I try and put in a little bit from each era of my life. You know, because I was there and I'm the songwriter on the material that I perform. You know, I wanted to represent, pretty much chronicle my life through music, and so I'll put in little L&M and Celebrate Me Home on through the solo career, and then I'll put in as the new album as Back to Avalon gets better known, I will integrate more and more material, but I don't try to push my audience beyond their abilities.
Well, great. I think it would be safe for me to say then that right now we can be very grateful that Kenny Loggins is on tour, active with a new album, and is footloose again. Sorry about that.
Wish you hadn't said.
But we wish you luck, continued luck on the tour, and good luck with the album. And I just wanted to get a chance to talk to all your friends all over America. And it's been great with you on the telephone, and I hope to see you live soon, and wish you good luck with the continued tour and going to Japan and Europe and everything else. And from Nobody's Fool right on to all the other good songs that are in Back to Avalon, we wish you well, Kenny Loggins.